our nuclear capability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's going to come out. I believe it is. I really do. Just when is the question.
And really, it has been happening. Contact has been happening probably since the beginning of mankind.
Yeah.
It's happened.
It's funny because people say, I'll believe it when they land on the White House lawn. Well, guess what? They tried in the 40s. We shot at them.
The Battle of Los Angeles. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, Stan, what is? I want to ask you something else, but before I ask you that, while we're on the same vein here, what's the message that you're receiving from them? I mean, they're giving you mathematical equations, where they've come from. It sounds just basically they're giving you the general idea of what's going on, but have they given you or ingrained in you something to other than that? Like, is there a message that you're supposed to share with us other than you're bringing widespread attention to the idea, or is that the whole point?
We're here, and it's time to grow up.
Yes. Okay. That's your impression?
That's it.
Now, you mentioned before that you've seen humans in your contacts in uniform. Have you seen human beings other than those in uniform working in conjunction with the entities?
No, not that I can remember.
Just the two cases off the top of your head with the people in uniform. Okay. It's a phenomenal story, Stan. I want to talk about the videos that you have online because, everyone...
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you get this a lot, but I have to bring it up. I have to ask you. There's a lot of scrutiny out there. The debunkers can't debunk your videos, but there's a lot of people saying that they're puppets and CGI, and how do you answer to that? Indeed. How does one answer to that question? You'll find out what Stan's response is right after these messages. Stay tuned.
On clear nights, do you sometimes stare into the sky, wondering, what would radio be like out there in the stars? Well, listen to the Lost Cosmonauts every Monday night at 10:30 p.m. on CKDU 88.1 FM to find out. Each week, your hosts, Kirk Thompson and Zach Shave, bring you eclectic selections from throughout the musical universe. So, tune in this Monday for another exciting episode of The Lost Cosmonauts. Until then, live long and prosper.
Space is the place. Space is the place, yeah. Space is the place.
The presidential election in Ghana has been narrowly won by the opposition candidate John Atta Mills. Ghana's electoral commission says.
Sick of corporate news? Would rather hear from people in your community and communities across Canada? Tune out the static and tune into Groundwire, 30 minutes of grassroots news produced by independent, on-the-ground journalists and campus community radio stations from coast to coast to coast. Released the first Monday of every month. To listen, contribute, or learn more, visit groundwire.ncra.ca. This is a project of the National Campus and Community Radio Association. Made by you, for you.
You are listening to the Unified Field with your host, Mr. Justin Brown.
I mean, you get this a lot, but I have to bring it up. I have to ask you. There's a lot of scrutiny out there. The debunkers can't debunk your videos, but there's a lot of people saying that they're puppets and CGI, and how do you answer to that?
It's like, you just get past it. There's going to be people that aren't going to believe no matter what. I mean, you can bring an alien to them and they'll say it's a midget in a costume, plain and simple. You can't. There are people that just refuse to believe. These videos have been analyzed by some of the top people there are, and they aren't CGI because the cameras that have been used are like surveillance VCRs that have special coding. If you try to, you can't. It's really hard to. And the cameras I have are they're not digital. The cameras that I've used are, one of them was high 8, the other one was just an analog. One of them was, a DV camera, another one was just analog high 8. And you can't, it's really hard to, from what I understand, and I wouldn't know how to do it anyhow, to do something on the computer and try to transfer it back over to the tape. I mean, I don't know if there's any programs out there, but if you do it, there's a way to tell with the coding that's within the tape itself.
Okay.
And they have special programs that can detect that. These aren't like that. So that means they either have to be puppets or something else.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a situation like the E.T. in the window. You know, I thought we had a peeping Tom. I got married, moved to Nebraska. I have twin stepdaughters that are very pretty. They're 21 now, going to be 22. And at the time, they were young teenagers. I got up from watching TV, and I saw movement outside of one of the windows, and it's like, oh, great, we have a peeping Tom. And this went on for months and months and months. I called the police. I let people know. We set traps. Could never catch this guy. And then one of the scientists involved in my case says, well, you have a camera. Put it on night shot. Point it toward the window next time you see movement and see what you get. Well, that's what I did. I saw movement, set up the camera, and I went to the bathroom, and you can hear me in the video. If you go to the website, you can see this. You can hear me say, I'm going to go to bed. I went to the bathroom, sat at the edge of the bathtub, and I really wanted to catch this guy. And I saw two real bright flashes of light, and about 5 minutes after the last flash of light, I looked out, and I see a head pop down. I was like, yes, I got him. I ran up to the window, looked out, and I saw what I thought it was a full moon because you could see fairly clearly. It was bright, and you could see fairly clearly. I thought I saw a kid running toward the backyard, and he clipped the bush as he was running toward the backyard on the side of the house. And I didn't make any noise, but he seemed to sense me, and he stopped in his tracks and looked back at me, and I got to tell you, his eyes were not normal. And you can see the video. My wife thinks it's the funniest thing ever. I jumped and ran away like a little girl. It scared me that bad. Could that thing be a mask or a costume? There's always that possibility, but I saw that thing run away. And if you look closely in the video, you'll see its facial features move, you'll see its eyes blink, and more importantly, if you're facing it, and you look in its, it would be your left, its right eye, you can see the infrared reflecting off its retina.
Interesting. Now, you were on Larry King. Was Jeff Peckman was with you on that Larry King,
Jeff Peckman,
right?
Yeah.
And there was a couple of analysts on there looking at these videos. And there was
Bunkers? They weren't analysts, they were local debunkers.
Right.
I got to tell you about that. That was funny.
Okay. But I watched that video. Now, my first impression was, you know what? That looks just like a puppet. Someone's behind there, and they've got it by one arm, and they're pulling it back, and that's it. But then again, I thought a little bit about it, and I was thinking, well, I've never seen an alien entity, and I have no idea what control they have over physics.
Exactly.
What's the story there? Why was your camera pointed on that corner of the room to begin with?
Because, like I said, next time I were to see something like this, set up the camera, point it toward the window where you saw. I had the researcher tell me this. Because the cops wouldn't help me. And this was going on for months, literally, off and on for months. And the researcher said, well, next time you see this thing out whatever window, just set up your camera and point it toward that window and walk away, see if you can catch something. And that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. Very, very interesting.
So that's why the camera was set up and pointed toward that window.
I see.
And, that's the first thing I thought is, oh, come on, this can't be. I saw the thing run away, and I know what I saw. And if you look at it over and over and over and over and over, you start noticing the little things, and it starts creeping you out. And it's like, oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm. But what about... Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, I was just going to say, what about that entity who's popping out in the kitchen? Like, where did it go?
It was outside. Well, that's a whole different story. You're talking about and we name all these guys. You would be amazed. The things that are on the internet are nothing compared to what we have that we've captured on surveillance.
Really?
And other people have captured being around us.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. And you're talking about the one we named that pops up in the window. We call him Boo. The one that my stepson had some friends over for a sleepover, and I fell asleep at the computer, and I woke up and I see a naked figure running into the kitchen, and I'm thinking, what in the world is my stepson doing? I thought they did some kind of dare.
Okay.
And I grabbed my camcorder, and I was going to try to blackmail them, and I couldn't find any. I mean, I went upstairs, and they were still asleep.
Okay.
And I was just about to shut off my camcorder when I noticed something outside the sliding glass door. And I mean, that was absolutely amazing. And I went because I'm sitting there. I was just maybe 10 feet away from looking at this thing. I could see it so clearly. It's like, oh man, is somebody outside playing a joke on me? So I went. I was too afraid to go outside. I was really freaking out. I was too afraid to go outside. So I went from the sliding glass door to the kitchen window to look, and there was nobody out there, nobody with puppets or anything. And I went to the last place I went was the kitchen window, and there were 5 flashes of light. And I woke up on the ground 45 minutes later, remembering nothing except for the flashes of light. I actually had to look at the video camera to remember what happened.
Unbelievable. This isn't the same Boo entity? Like this is a different...
This is a totally different entity. That's what people need to understand. There's a lot of stuff that happened. That one video is nothing.
Mm-hmm. But I have...
the evidence that I have really is.
I'm not trying to irritate you or anything, but I'm curious about this kitchen entity. Like, it looked like why didn't you run around the corner to find it? Like, why?
I did run around the corner to find it. Was I going to go outside? I was too scared.
I thought this was in your kitchen.
No, it ran. I thought it was my stepson when I first woke up. I see this just out of the corner of my eye. I see this naked figure running into the kitchen. I thought it was my stepson doing some kind of dare.
Do you know that?
Oh, what are they doing? I was going to get my camera and blackmail him.
Are we talking about the same video? I'm talking about the one where he pops out from behind the wall and then slips back.
Yes, that's the same video.
Okay, interesting.
But what happens is I find nothing in the house. So I'm about to shut off my camera. And that's when I look and I see something looking at me from outside the sliding glass door.
Okay.
Whatever it is had gotten outside again somehow real fast, or who knows what.
Regardless of whether or not your past experiences are legitimate, because you sound very sincere when you talk about it, there are a lot of people that are attacking you because of these videos. Obviously, you know all about it. Because
there's a lot of, and a lot of this is intentional. I can always tell the real cases by the not real cases, because the ones that are real always get the most attention. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the most attention. Uh-huh. There are a lot of people, and it's always the same 4 or 5 people. Always the same. Always. But then when they go up against the scientists and the researchers, they fall apart.
Right.
And, you just have to, eventually, you just deal with it and just keep going, and the case speaks for itself. When you have, and again, what makes my case so different is the fact that most everything that happens, there's tons of witnesses.
Yeah.
And when you have a case like that, eventually those guys just go away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
because they can't handle really what's going on. There are people who are not going to believe. There are people, and people are so mean about it. I mean, they are just incredibly mean. I mean, our lives are threatened. I got people that are just, they're jerks. The people on Larry King Live, it's a local group that got upset because I heard from other people that these guys were kind of a joke, and they wanted to investigate my case, and I said no, so they got, because that's what they do. They investigate cases, and then they kind of ride the coattails so they can become famous.
Yeah.
And I don't need that, know.
Okay.
And I said no, and they got upset. So they're hell bent on trying to say everything that I make is fake, which is ridiculous. I mean, when you have the producers from TV programs, huge TV programs, experiencing stuff with you, come on.
Exactly. Well, your book is called Messages, the world's most documented extraterrestrial contact story. What's coming up for you? What's going on? I mean, your books, you can get your books everywhere. And in the remote little villages of Atlantic Canada even, you can find a book by Stan Romanek. But what's coming up for you here in the future, Stan?
Well, I've got a huge talk coming up the 16th of October in Orange County, California.
My son's birthday. For
any of your listeners that, listen to you online or whatever, I get to show my full presentation, blow people away. It's in a wonderful a place, too, and I'm excited about this place because it is in a military installation that's open to the public, but it's in a very haunted theater.
Wow.
So you can ask for a better place to have this, and that's the 16th, and you can go on my website to find out about that. Also, there's a feature film being made about my story,